There shouldn't be a need for a website called theoceancleanup.com, but the website exists, and it will even make you sick or maybe even embarrassed. Since plastic was invented over a century ago, it has made its way into countless lakes and streams and ended up in the ocean and the land that surrounds it. The biggest collection of plastic is twice the size of Texas in a grim place called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. While this may not affect your life directly because you do not live in the Great Pacific Ocean, you should still be concerned that a very large section of the biosphere is completely destroyed by sheer human irresponsibility. This speech is especially important for you, those who are uninterested in or simply don't care about recycling, to listen to what I have to say here today, because the world of future generations is counting on our action. Plastic consumption and improper disposal is becoming a problem. I became interested in and concerned about humanity's lasting impacts on the Earth years ago when I learned about the different ways plastic is used and abused. While I'm not an expert about the lasting effects plastic have on the environment, I have done some research on the topic, have found credible sources, and am honestly concerned enough to find the relevant factual statistics and information to make you as concerned as I am. Some plastic is unavoidable. Everybody has to use plastic in one way or another. The more you are aware of the plastic you use and dispose of every day or every week, the more you start to realize how great an individual's impact has on the Earth. The reasons action is needed includes the role that it plays in oceanic and land pollution, its harmfulness to marine animals and wildlife, and the process in which it is made. We will also be discussing the crucial things you can do to be a part of the solution instead of the problem. Plastic affects the Earth in many negative ways, and it is often forgot about as a pollutant through the process of its creation, in addition to the plastic surplus that results from a lack of effort in recycling. As we know, pollution takes many different forms. Fracking accidents also remind us that there is never a shortage of Earth-damaging behavior exhibited by humans. As the article 5 Ways That Plastics Harm the Environment and One Way They May Help by @GirlScientist explained, one of the ways plastic is produced is by fracking. Fracking is known to be harmful to the planet. It puts toxins into the water, soil, and air, creates sinkholes, and also plays a role in the formation of earthquakes. The article also mentions how certain companies like INEOS negatively impact the environment because they have a very bad track record of causing serious damage to the environment, including leaks, spills, explosions, and even fires. It's instances such as this that make it clear that change is needed. In that same article, she discussed how not all plastic is recyclable, and not all recyclable plastic gets recycled. This is a big part of the problem. It is first of all irresponsible to make an item unrecyclable in the first place, but it is equally irresponsible to not recycle everything you possibly can as an individual, or worse, your company can. It all comes back to education. Most people are unaware of the gravity of the situation, or don't care, and that is not at all how it should be. There needs to be more resources and initiatives to educate people on what to do and why it is important. Without trying to sound materialistic, plastic also looks downright ugly in the natural world. It does not belong there. Litter is an insult to the planet, and we need to prevent it from taking over the biosphere, which is there not only for human benefit, but for the millions of species that call it home. Plastic is now starting to impact such a large portion of the biosphere that it is becoming hard to ignore or cover up. The vast amount of wildlife that is affected by plastic is quite troubling, and this toxic form of trash is proving to be very hard for animals to ignore. Very large sections of planet Earth are still naturally wild, and we as a species should not want to ruin the symbiotic relationship we have with wild animals or the environment that we share with them. The Earth will become an undesirable place to live if we do not maintain the delicate balance. According to the Ocean Crusaders website, there are 100,000 marine creatures killed by plastic entanglement every year, and around 1 million seabirds. This, among many other casualty statistics, should be reason enough to minimize your plastic use. The animals affected suffer in many ways when they eat plastic. Plastic consumption leads to malnutrition, intestinal blockage, or slow poisoning from chemicals leached from or attached to plastics. Unfortunately, even once an animal is killed, the plastic doesn't go away. It is not biodegradable, so it just sits there in the ocean or on the beach waiting to claim its next victim. When we look at the two most impactful ways to reduce plastic's environmental impact, we could consider eliminating single-use plastics and vamping up recycling efforts. Single-use plastics are very economical, but also harmful at the same time. This poses the ultimate consumer dilemma. Why should we inconvenience ourselves if it doesn't affect us directly? As Linda K. Bregan said in her article, Bans of Single-Use Plastics Rise in Popularity, Protecting the Oceans, products typically used once and discarded, such as water bottles, grocery bags, and straws, are starting to be recognized for how destructive they really are, and countries and localities are starting to ban their use. Some countries in Africa, Asia, Central and South America, Europe, and Oceania have already started. On the individual level, it takes self-discipline, education, and willpower to change bad habits, and I hope you will be more mindful of your personal carbon footprint in the future. Similarly, recycling also requires self-discipline, education, and willpower to adapt good, impactful recycling habits. In Effects of Number and Location of Bins on Plastic Recycling at a University, the researchers conducted an experiment that found that consumers recycled substantially more plastic bottles when the recycling bins were located in classrooms. This is interesting because it proved that people are not typically willing to go out of their way to recycle. I am aiming to change this mindset in as many consumers as I can. Recycling is not only easy to do, but it feels good to give a resource a second chance at being used again. Please recycle everything you possibly can. It's not that hard. In review, human beings are causing some serious damage to planet Earth with many different types of plastic, but none are more prevalent than single-use ones. Humanity needs to make a conscious effort to stop using things like this, and instead of using these plastic straws that do not biodegrade anytime soon, we should switch to paper straws. Biodegradable and just as useful. Simple, albeit slightly more expensive products will eventually make things right. With this, we can fix the problem together. Minimizing your plastic use and committing to recycling will help the plastic problem our world is facing. Oceanic and land pollution will decrease, as would marine animal and wildlife deaths, and the health of all parties involved, including Mother Earth, will improve. Human irresponsibility is tough for anybody to admit to. However, all we need to do is simply change our habits for the better. Less of this would be better for us all. Influencing change was my goal today. I leave with the hope that you will make the right call every single day.